Hi, this is GED teacher Damon Tennant, and in this video, I am going to go over a brief social studies lesson with you. Just for the record, because I still get these questions from time to time as it relates to the GED Social Studies test, there is no longer a writing sample on the GED test. There used to be a writing requirement on the GED Social Studies test, but as of 2016, so almost 3 years ago, that requirement was removed. Although it was an initial requirement for the first 2 years of this new test. So that's the first thing I want to get out of the way, and then let's just jump into today's lesson. So this is going to be the chart that we use as we look through a few questions. But I always find it very instructive to take some time to really kind of understand the chart. So let me just review kind of what we're looking at here. And this is what I recommend you do when you're actually on the GED test, looking at the questions, looking at the chart, looking at the written word. So the first thing you want to do is look at the title of the chart. So International Education Output Key Indicators. So we know right away that this is international. It's comparing nations. It's about education. It's about education output, and then it's indicating something. Then we go to here, which is called the legend. The legend guides us as to what we're going to see in the chart. So the green is computer science advanced degrees, the blue is medical advanced degrees, and the purple is finance advanced degrees. And then you come over here and you see the nations that are being compared. You see the Philippines and their output. You see the US and its output. You see Malaysia and its output. You see India, its output, and you see China and its output. Okay, and so you see the comparison here is the Philippines so you look down here and you see the numbers, but this is number of degrees granted in thousands. So when you see 20, that's really saying 20,000. So now we've kind of looked at the chart and we kind of know what we're looking at. So up here, we can kind of draw a line down, and so that's probably, I don't know, 22, 25, something like that. 30 is going to be here in the middle. So halfway in the middle is probably going to be 25. So the Philippines, as far as finance degrees, are putting out about 25,000 a year. And then the US coming over here, so there's 120, there's 140. So that's coming down there probably somewhere over 130. So that gives us some bearing in how we're looking at the numbers. So the US would have 130,000 finance degrees. So let's continue on with our lesson. So when you think about the GED Social Studies test, it is critical to know the kinds of questions that you're going to be asked on the GED. So on this slide, I'm going to review comprehension type questions and evaluation type questions. The first one is a comprehension question. A comprehension question is when you can simply read something or look at something. In this case, we're looking at something in the chart and find the answer just directly. Can you read and comprehend? So which countries have roughly the same output of advanced medical degrees? So you go to blue, medical degrees. Well, that's different than that one, and that's different than that one, and that's different than these other ones. But these two are roughly the same, the US and China. So the answer to that question would be the US and China. They have roughly the same output. So you see how that's comprehension. You can directly find that answer with just simply viewing. Now the next skill, evaluation, is something a little bit different. It has some elements of comprehension, but evaluation is really about reading and understanding the data and then making a decision about what you read. Evaluation. So the United States produces more advanced finance degrees than which countries combined. So here you have the US, okay, and their finance degrees comes about here. So we're just going to call that 135,000 because remember these numbers are in thousands, okay? And so now that's kind of our mark. So we're just going to hold 135, and then we're going to look at Malaysia and India. Okay, so when you look at Malaysia and India, Malaysia's coming down here. Let's just call that 60. And then India's coming here in the middle, about 65. So 60 and 65 is 125. And so that first one there is going to be 125. Then the second one is China and India. So China's over here. That's probably about 115. And then India right here is probably about 65. So 115 plus 165 is 180. So that is clearly over the 135. Excuse my pen writing. And then we have Malaysia and China. So then we're going to come over here and look at China again. Again, we said that's about 115. Then Malaysia's here at 160. So that's about 175. So again, that's clearly over the 135 that we've set. And then finally, China and the Philippines. So we have China here. China's about 115. And then the Philippines is probably right here in the middle, so about 30. So 115 is and 30 is 145. So really, now we're evaluating. So this is looking at the data and making a decision based with it. So 135, 180 is greater than that, 175 is greater than that, 145 is greater than that, but our answer right here, 125. The U.S. produces more advanced degrees in finance than these two countries combined. So again, that's the skill of evaluation. Let's continue on with our lesson. Now we have analysis. Analysis is more of the type of question where you to draw some conclusion or inference, if you're familiar with that word. And so this question says, which nation would provide the best location for a new software design company? Well, so you're going to make an inference. There's nothing in here that talks about companies and nothing in here that talks about a country's particular friendliness, but you can make a inference or a conclusion that if a country produces a lot of computer science degrees, that's probably a good place for a software company to start because the talent will be there to help the company to grow. So in this case, you're going to use analysis to analyze the data and say, well, the Philippines produces quite a bit, and the US does, and Malaysia does, and India does, but China produces the most. So I would analyze this data and say, if I'm going to build a new software company, I'm probably going to go with China because there's more talent there for a new company in terms of its location. So again, that's the skill of analysis where it's not said here, but you can analyze and look at this data and how it's presented and use it to make a decision or answer a question in this case. Then the final skill I'm going to talk about today is the application question, where you take what you've learned here and you apply it in a new context. So here we're specifically talking about international education and output of key as a key indicator. So our question here is, a U.S. congressman wants to introduce a bill issuing more work visas to immigrants that are able to fill needed U.S.-based job categories. Which job category below would likely be part of this potential legislation? So you look at the U.S. and you look at, wow, they're producing quite a bit of advanced finance degrees, and you look at computer science, they're not too slow there, but their lowest advanced medical degrees is here. So we're going to be really looking at probably medical. That's what we're really going to want to build up with immigrants coming in to fill these new job categories. So farm laborers, that doesn't apply. Registered nurses, well, that might be it because it's medical. Machine operators, no. Investment specialists, well, we're already producing quite a bit. So in this case, the answer would be registered nurses. So that's taking information in this context, talking about educational output, and then providing it in another context, a legislative, making a new law in the United States. So taking an economic context and applying that to a political context is what you would be looking at. the context change, but applying the same information for the application question. So again, just to wrap it up, you're going to be looking at comprehension questions, you're going to be looking at evaluation questions, and then you're going to be looking at analysis and application questions. I hope this video was helpful. If you like this video, please like it because that lets YouTube know that these are valuable videos for people looking for GED prep content. And then also, if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe, and then that way you'll get notifications, however you have it set up in YouTube, that whenever this video is ready, or in future videos that I do, you'll get a notification right to your email or text, or however you have it set up. And then finally, if you are interested in how I teach and how I break this material down, go to my website, www.mygedlive.com, and get the online GED course. Enroll in it, and it will definitely improve how you are now studying and preparing for the GED Social Studies, the GED Science, the GED RLA, and the GED Math Reasoning test. Thank you.